Welcome to Lighting the Way with Beth Green and friends. I am Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks, and my friends will be joining me shortly after I introduce the topic and talk about it a little bit. So, if you saw the very beginning of the show, then you know that the topic is: Are we embracing positive change? Do we even know that it's positive? So, I think we are going to laugh a lot. That would be my guess, that we're going to laugh a lot during this show because I started thinking about it, and all I could do is see how ridiculous I was. And I laughed a lot. So I think it's always good to laugh at our ridiculousness. So let's say you're in a situation and you are unhappy. You're unhappy with your mate, you're unhappy with your job, you're unhappy with your home or your apartment, with your children, with your government, you're unhappy with your mother in law, and you start feeling like, wouldn't something else be better? You know, why not try this or that? So, I don't know how you feel about this, but sometimes when I go to buy a product that I've been using for years and I really like it, all of a sudden they give me new and improved. Well, it may be new, but it is not improved. And I get really upset because they took something that I really liked and they made it worse. But, that made me laugh because that's kind of like the way it is with life with us when we try to create a new life or do something really big to change it. Sometimes even something very small. Well, you could be changing your diet or the colors of your bedroom. So some things it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, I get a haircut, I don't like it, I can always have it redone, right? But other things are more permanent. And, you sell your home because you want to move somewhere and you can't move back. So it's really important to think very carefully about a change. So now remember the topic is, are we embracing positive change? Or do we even know that it's positive? So I'm going to get into the depth of that. But think about all the things that you may have recently changed or would like to change or think about changing. And then think about how we approach that. Now, I know that when it comes to dating, for instance, it doesn't matter whether it's a man or woman, non binary, whatever. Uh, you go out, you meet somebody, or you see somebody in the internet and you contact them, or they contact you, and then you're sitting there paralyzed. Well, are they who they say they are? What are they lying about? Is their photograph 20 years old? Are they really a serial killer? What are they going to be like? And by the time you get done with all of this questioning, all the excitement that you may have been feeling before goes away. Now, that could represent a positive change, but you never get to the point that you find out if it will represent a positive change because you stop it before it even happens. I don't know about you, but I know that a lot of people I do that. They block themselves before they even start. And you could say that's just good sense. You thought it over and you realized something, or it could be self sabotage. Or you meet this person, you have the date with them, and you're really excited and you're so enthusiastic, and you say, yes, let's meet again. And then in between that and the time of the next date, what are you thinking? Well, what did he or she or they mean by this or that look on their face? Or I'm concerned about their mother in law. What about that gap of 5 years that they didn't explain to me? Do you recognize any of these thoughts? I'm not just talking about dating, it could be about anything, right? It's like, oh, yeah, so James and I have decided that we're going to move. Okay, we're going to move. We have very good reasons to move. However, the minute we decided to move, it's like, oh no, is this really the right thing? You know, before you make a decision, it is a really good idea to think things through in a very honest way. What is my real motive for this change? What is my fantasy about this? What do I think I'm really going to accomplish with this? And so on. And what is the likelihood that this is really the right place? Do all the research that you can and all of that. And then you have to make a decision. And sometimes we start to get really scared. In fact, sometimes after the fact we get scared, like I said, like after the first date, or you've taken a new job and now all of a sudden you're tearing it apart. Now let's think about why you started the whole process. Well, there was something you weren't happy with, something you were dissatisfied about. Now some of that is just human behavior. I'm always dissatisfied with my husband or wife or friends or where, my job, there's always something that I can get dissatisfied about. But I have to think about whether my dissatisfaction with that is worth upending my entire life and starting again with something that is so unknown. And there is the problem. The problem isn't that we may not have thought about it or not, although sometimes, of course, that is a problem. People leap and they don't think. Well, I mean, that was more of something that I did when I was really young. I was just like, oh yes, I feel, but it's more like, okay, I've been honest about why I want to make this move or this change. And I'm trying to be honest about everything that I'm thinking. However, there is always the doubt, because I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how thoroughly you look at things. You still don't know how it's going to turn out, do you? I don't. I don't know how it's going to turn out. And I don't want to live there and regret it. Okay, so I cut my hair. I went to a new guy, and I didn't like the haircut. It will grow out. But if I sell my house, or I divorce my husband or partner, or quit my job, it may not be so easy and it may not work out. Now, working out, what does even working out mean? That there won't be any problems? I mean, we're always hoping for an idealized situation at the end of the rainbow that it's going to feel so much better. It's going to be just so much better. Okay, well, maybe it's better in this way. Maybe it's not better in that way. Have I lost this? And then we can become absolutely paralyzed. So, what do? We have toxic thinking about what we started out for as a positive change. I want to move. I want to. I want to divorce my husband. I may think that I'm divorcing my husband because I felt, by the way, I am not divorcing my husband, but this is true of people. I may think that I'm divorcing my husband because I met another person. I'm in love with her. I think, oh, this is going to be so great. Of course, I haven't lived with her yet. And in the end, it doesn't work out. So I really need to look at whether or not I want to divorce my husband. In other words, rather than saying, well, I'm necessarily going after this because I know it's going to be so much better, it's like, am I really wanting to let go of this? Or is this really satisfying me in so many ways? The same thing can be true of a job. Do I really want to quit this job? What does this job have that I love that maybe I don't want to lose? So when I look at that in an honest way and I say, I really want to leave. I feel frustrated. I feel suppressed. I feel bored. I feel like, I'm becoming a bitch because I'm so angry all the time, or whatever, or I'm losing my power. All of those kinds of things can be reasons that you want to leave. You can leave the job or the husband or the situation or the city or the house because you're unhappy there without knowing that the next thing is going to work out better, but because this is holding you back spiritually, emotionally, some physically, some way. And then you take a chance on something else. And if that doesn't work out, don't beat yourself up. Just say, hey, this didn't work out. Let me try something else. If we weren't so darn judgmental, that we wouldn't have to be so afraid. I mean, judgmental of ourselves. We wouldn't have to be so afraid that we're going to make a mistake. And that is a big deal. So now, are we embracing positive change? How many times have we sabotaged going towards positive change because of fear? And how much of that fear is needless? And when I say it's needless fear, I mean it's something that our brains have conjured up. Oh, this is going to happen. Oh, that's going to happen. Oh, no. Okay, and that will keep me stuck. So, okay, if my major interest in life is to do the same thing over and over because I feel safer that way, then okay, that's it. You've given yourself the answer. You don't want to change because you're afraid to take a chance that you're going to lose something or it's going to be too hard or you're going to regret it. So you're not motivated enough. But if you do want positive change and you believe that something is positive, then once you've said yes, don't keep second, third, fourth guessing yourself. What will that do? It'll add toxicity to the mix. Instead of embracing it and thinking about reminding yourself, oh, I'm doing this because of this. Oh, I really love this. Oh, I love her smile. Um, I love the location. Uh, I love the way they do this work. I love something about it that is important enough to me that I'm willing to take a chance and know you're taking a chance, but go towards it with a positive feeling in your heart. Otherwise, you will be sabotaging the whole experience for yourself. So I'm wondering if any of my friends, our guests, have any of these kinds of experiences that they would like to talk about. And my dog is telling me that I shouldn't have closed the door, but I don't regret that I did. Okay, so I'm going to bring my guest on and hope that he quiets down. Okay. All right. First we have James Maynard.
Hello.
And then we have, come on, where is everybody? Here we go. Lizzie Treehart. We don't hear you
I
yet.
know.
Oh, great. Great. We just heard you. And I'm
Okay.
going to I'm going to open the door in a second, but first I'm going to introduce Todd Benton. And remember, I said we would be laughing a lot in this show. I hope you've been laughing or crying or whatever. Okay. Oh, James opened the door. I don't know. I don't regret getting the dog, although there have been many times that that doggy has been such a pain in the butt. But I don't want to trade him in. A lot of other things I'll trade in before my dog. Okay, so who identifies with what I'm bringing up? Who would like to share? Okay, Lizzie, I thought you might. I thought of you when I started thinking about this show.
Oh God. So I have been second, third, fourth guessing my new job.
Oh, still, huh?
Well, just I'm still glad I'm there, but there's it's just such a different setting. It's so different than what I'm used to. It's double the amount of patients I'm used to seeing in a day, and I'm still learning the computer system. So I'm just like, how am I going to learn all this and still not have a ton of paperwork every night? So that's where I'm second guessing as far as, you know, But with what you're saying, when we second guess whatever, we're bringing in negative energy into that. And I'm like, ooh, I never thought of that. And I don't want to be doing that. So it takes time. I mean, it's multiple systems, and my boss is like, it takes time. So it's not like I'm slow at it. It just takes time to get things down and learn how things work and get things in place.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're talking about this because the first question you need to ask yourself was, were you so in love with the job you had before?
No.
Okay, so you left that job. Okay, right? Isn't that like the example that I gave about the husband? I
Yeah.
left the job, even if the new one doesn't work out. I'm glad I left it. You can always try to find another job.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, of course, um, you're going to have to learn a lot, but that's true of everything you do. So why are you thinking that way? Why don't you say to yourself, oh, I'm going to give this lots of time because I like this and this and this about this job. And I'm going to need some time to catch up. And instead of being upset about it all the time, which just makes me more stupid, at least it makes me more stupid when I'm upset, right? I don't think straight. So I'm actually delaying my learning because I'm resenting and because I'm second guessing. And so there it is. It's much better to say, it's going to be fine. I mean, put out some positive bullshit. Say, this is going to be fine. I'm going to get the knack of this. If I have trouble, somebody will help me. I really like it here. And start thinking, I really like it here. I really want to learn this. I really want to get through this time, but I know it'll take some time, but in a positive way instead of saying, oh, I got to get through this because I just can't stand it another minute. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. So you say, I know I'm going to get through this. I always do. I've learned in the past. And I know that ultimately, if I really want to leave, I can. Fortunately, I am not an indentured servant or a slave. And so, unless you feel like, it's the money, but there'll be another job. I've always gotten another job. You start feeding yourself these positive messages. And there's the doggy wants to get back in. James, could you let Charlie back in and leave the door open now? So um, I hope he didn't go and poop under the piano. Anyway, here I'd like you to be thinking, okay, I'm going to be seeing twice as many patients, and I hadn't realized that. Well, what is the positive side of that? Look how many more people I can help. Jeffrey says, good evening. Good evening, Jeffrey. During our last magical improvs, you left a message at the end, and we didn't see it until after the show. So I just wanted to tell you that's why we didn't respond. And he's sending us all kinds of, well, you guys are seeing it. You can see it on the chat. I don't know if you can see it on the chat. This is coming from YouTube. So I'd
Yes,
like
I
to
can.
right now, well, I know you can, Todd, but I mean, people who are watching on YouTube, we are simultaneously um, broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube. And if you write to me on my Facebook public page, I will see your comment. And if you write on the private page, I will not see your comment. And then I'll get an email. You never answered me, or well, because I didn't see you because you weren't on my public page. Anyway, so Jeffrey is on YouTube. Anyway, Lizzie, I'd like you to try it right now. I want you to say, I am so excited that they have a system whereby I can help so many more people. And I think I can get the knack of this. This could be just wonderful.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember what you just said.
I love
So
that
this,
I get to see twice as many. I can help twice as many, but they have a system where you know
yeah.
what I
Well,
said.
I, I really love this because I see I can help twice as many people, And there's a system set up that supports that works. And I love how, because we had a meeting today and it was all about helping other PTs see that there's more to patient care than just documenting, giving them exercises and such. I got to share how I help another client with his emotional well-being. He's under a lot of stress. He's depressed. He's having to make these big lifetime changes, decisions by himself. And, I'm supporting him and giving him hugs. And, that's not physical, in physical therapy school, they don't teach that. But that's what our owner is saying. This is what we also do.
Wow. Wow, that's a terrible job. I don't know how you can stand it.
And so I can see how he was so excited to have me come on board, because with the different experience that I have, that I can teach the younger PTs, there's more to it than what you get in school.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
I love being able to share, to be able to teach. I never realized that I have so much to share. And I wasn't able to do that. That wasn't happening where I was before. So I love feeling appreciated and sharing what I have to give.
Right. And there is a system set up. So it's not like you're just in a meat grinder where they're pushing all these clients on you. It's just they have a system where you have an aide and you and all of that. And so now, do you feel any different? Seriously, do you feel any different now than you did 5 minutes ago?
I do. My heart feels lighter. I feel happy. I'm smiling. I don't feel so. Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie. That's a great example. I hope everybody was paying attention to that, because I'm not kidding. You can change your state of mind as well as change your state. Okay, where you're living. Okay, carry on. Who's next? Okay, James.
Yes, we had a recent experience, you and I, of exploring the coast yesterday, as a matter of fact, where
The Oregon coast, for those of you who don't know where we live.
and everything that happened that day was positive. It was wonderful, and I know that being in that environment really stimulated me to be in my better self. However, since being back here, I wind up be getting kind of crabby and negative and critical about this and that and this and that, and it turns out, that my ego really likes the feeling of less challenge, convenience, comfort. Like shopping, for example, everything's within 5 or 10 minutes. But over there on the coast, well, it's going to be more of a drive, et cetera, et cetera. So is it worth the practicalities to give up on the positive change that I know I can feel when I'm there in that environment? So I have to say, hey, I got to go for that environment because I know I'm a better person with the stimulation, with the chi energy that comes from being near the ocean, that spot, that area. So that's a good learning for me. I had a similar problem when you and I were going to be moving from southern Oregon up to the middle of Oregon from a town called Williams, where I had everything wired. I knew where to get everything. Everything was nice and easy, stable. I knew what was what. So this flight into the unknown has been a big challenge for me. I mean, this challenge we're facing now. Sell this home. This is the best home I've lived in. What would I do that? And buy another home that's smaller and for higher costs and all that stuff.
Right.
And so the practical side of me says, what? We bought this place at a very low interest rate, and now we would buy a smaller place at a bigger interest rate and higher monthly payments? What? So the practicalities have to be weighed against, well, yeah, but the positive change I feel, the positive change I saw in you, it's like, man, you came alive in ways that I've never seen. So, hey, this could be really, really good. So I'm having to overcome those egoic attachments, the fear of the unknown. And one of the biggest unknowns is I've had to struggle with cognitive impairment. and I've been fighting off declining. But I'm wondering, gee, what's it going to be like having to confront a whole bunch of new stimuli and risk being more confused and all of that. And I just have to tell myself, well, yeah, but when you get stimulation and you learn new things, that's good for your brain. So it's the pros and the cons, the pros and the cons. But fortunately, it's tilting into the realm of positive change internally, a happier life.
I love what you're saying, James, because you've really put your finger on it. What I didn't really like blow up into Technicolor was just what you said. Change means getting out of our comfort zone.
Ah, yes.
Okay? We have to do something different. That's what Lizzie was just describing. She does things differently. Yeah, but you want to do things differently because if you really liked it that much, you would have stayed. So, but the minute we have to do something differently, we feel very challenged. And you have the cognitive impairment issue, James, and I understand that. But even the rest of us who may not think we have cognitive impairment, but might, we all, I mean, Lizzie was describing it. I don't know how to do this. It's like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know. And we had a really interesting experience yesterday morning before we took this trip to this place. And, and I had this thought to call the medical center in this town. It's a small town, a couple of thousand people. And up to this point, every time we've tried to move to the coast, we could not get a doctor, a physician's assistant, a nurse practitioner, or anything. We had to go to urgent care. And I just had this feeling. I said, I have got to call this little clinic in this town. And if they have somebody for us, I don't care who it is, the janitor would be okay. Just have somebody there, then that's going to tell us that it's the right place. Not only did we got a doctor who happens to be an osteopath, which is what we like. And I told the woman, I said, you can't believe this. I can't believe this. And James and I both got appointments for September. I mean, they could have seen us in August, but we made it September in the hopes that we actually will have moved in September. Otherwise, we're going to be driving an hour and a half to a doctor that we don't need. And we'll see how that goes. But anyway, there it is. It's not easy. Nothing is easy, but our anxiety and our fears about, doing something different. And I did things yesterday I don't do. And I had the energy to do it. And I just said, that's it. That's it. We're going to move. And then, of course, I also got besieged with doubts. So I understand that, but try to remember the good stuff, really, and to keep feeding yourself, because then it's much more likely to work out anyway. So what about you, Todd?
I'm thinking about what I am trying to change right now, and I haven't come up with anything. I can think of things in the recent past that I took on that I didn't end up doing, and I had the space to decide not to do it, like learning to code. And that was an example of like something I really thought I wanted to do, and then just it wasn't it. But I'm thinking right now, and I don't have anything that I have either recently changed.
Yeah, you did. Is your relationship to your horse?
Yes. But I feel like that's already done. It's like off my mind now.
But you're talking about something from a couple of years ago. But I mean, you could just talk about that. Maybe something will come to you.
I'm thinking about myself. I mean, changing myself, and that's pretty hard.
But that's what I'm talking about. You had to change yourself in order to give up your ownership of that horse.
Yes, that's true.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
So what is the change that you were going through? That was an example of the change that you've been going through.
Yeah, of letting go of something that I enjoy. I've come to enjoy it, but it wasn't really for me. And I did it to fit in with my family and to have time with my family and kind of be part of the clique, if you will. So it feels good. I mean, it feels weird sometimes. Like I'm like, because Christine is going off to a lesson and I'm not there, and it feels a little disorienting, but I'm becoming used to it, and I like the time I've gotten back.
Well, see, this is something you are going through right now.
Yes.
It is a change in yourself of no longer trying to fit in, but more and more finding out who you are, what you need, and going after it, and having faith that if you are with the right people, they will support you and it will support them. That will be in everybody's highest good. And so you are going through that change right now as
I'm
we
also
speak.
going through another change, which we talked about on our men's call this morning, is my relationship with Aiden and Luke. We had a big shift this weekend, in our relationship
Tell
from the
people who
retreat.
Aiden and
Yeah.
Luke are, right?
Aiden and Luke are my sons. And we were in a workshop with Beth together this past weekend,
We had a
a
retreat.
retreat,
It was great.
and it was great. But I think I have expectations, that they should want to do things with me, and I just have to let it kind of unfold and not try and push it on them. But Luke did invite me to go to a concert with him in August, so we're gonna do that together. I just got the tickets. It's a band we both like, so that was cool. And I had a really good time with Aiden. Um, it's a long story, but he left his car here and he didn't realize he had to work on Monday and didn't have time to get back. So I drove his car down there, and then he drove me to the train station. So we got to spend some time together, and it was great. I wasn't, we just enjoyed being together, and that's what I enjoy, is not having an agenda with him or with either of them, but just kind of that give and take that happens when you're just in a social setting together and relating. So that's the future I'm working toward. And
That's the present you already have.
well, it's unknown though. Like, I don't know if they're going to give me the level of quote attention that I want or connection that I want. Yeah.
Okay. Here's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking, see.
Okay.
If you think of it as something that you're working toward, then you have some kind of an idea in your head, a template in your head of what that's supposed to look like. We're working towards this kind of relationship. It's going to look like this and this and this. You have already changed your relationship. You are describing to us two things that have happened in the last 2 days, right?
True.
That are not about the future. And
They're
don't
about
look
the now, right?
I got it. That's already happened. There's been a change in your relationship, and you're seeing it. You're seeing the fruits of that. So don't you see? You're already doing the second guessing. Yeah, but is it real? I get this. I get this. I had a vision. Now, most of our viewers, I've talked about having ill health, but they don't know what I mean when I say I have ill health. I can't stand up, I can't walk, I can't do anything. Okay. And I had a vision on Sunday of running at the ocean on a beach with perfect sand. And I shared that Sunday morning that I had this vision. I don't run, needless to say. I've never liked the beach, and I have no idea where this place would be. So yesterday, James and I went to this town on the coast, and we walked down to this spot, turned slightly to the left, and we had miles and miles of beach. No debris, no driftwood, no shells, perfect sand and water. And I started running. Now, when I say I was running, I mean
bounding. Yeah, it was. I was amazed at your video, by the way.
You saw that video.
Yeah, I did. I was like, wow, you're really moving, Beth.
Right.
You were like jogging almost. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I told James, I said I was running.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my version of running. I can't even walk, much less run. And I had that vision, and it happened. Do you think that I didn't start second guessing?
Oh, I bet you did.
I did. That's why I was laughing. I had to tell you this so you don't feel so stupid, right? It's like, I don't know. Is that really going to happen? Is it really? I mean, I have a vision, then I do it, but no, that can't be it. And so I have to put myself back in being crippled. I don't want to put myself back in being crippled. I want to see that as a possibility. I've done it and I can do it. I can do it. I don't know if I can do it again tomorrow, but I can do it. And so I want to embrace that positive change. That's what I'm talking about.
All
Embrace
right,
the
I love it.
positive change. You got it?
I saw it. I felt it with your doggy too, with Charlie running along with you and jumping and stuff. I was like, oh man, this is good.
Oh, and I was waving my arms around in the air.
Yep.
And I've never been like that.
Hmm.
I felt free. I felt free. I didn't want to come back. I didn't want to turn around and come back. It's a good thing I did because by the time we walked back, I could barely move. And we had to wade through water and pools of water and everything to get there. But it was like I didn't care. I saw the pool of water, and James tried to help me over, but I'm short and I have short legs, and I just walked through the water. I mean, Jesus did it. Why shouldn't I? So I want to believe that there is a positive future as we live in this day and age with a hideous fascist type government, and people are being abused right, left, and center, and it's not over yet, and we still have to struggle. I still want to believe in a positive future, that there are changes taking place, that people are fighting back, but that maybe people aren't just going to fight against, but that we're going to start envisioning the world we want and start embracing that. See, people say, oh, you can't talk about that, Beth. You can't talk about a positive vision. You can't talk about a society that meets the needs of people on the earth. Oh, no. I mean, all we can do now is fight against Trump. It's like, but I can. And, you can see how this really fits. I believe that it is possible. I'm going to feed that belief that we can come through this and learn something about why our society is the way it is and do something about it. So there you have it. So I'd love to ask our wonderful audience, whether you came live or later, to give us a thumbs up on YouTube, a like or a love on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on notification bell. Follow us on my public Facebook page. Leave a comment later, even if you see it later, and share this program with other people. A lot of people struggle with this. I don't know anybody who doesn't, because we're all so afraid of loss, of something new, of something challenging, and that we're going to do it without drugs and alcohol, right? I mean, when we're young, we do all kinds of stupid things, but with a little bit more maturity, thinking things through, but trusting that it is possible, that it is even possible. Oh, and Amy just said, I love this. Thank you. And thank you, Amy. I'm so glad that you are joining us on the internet. So I think that's it for tonight. Oh, come back next Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Who knows what will have happened by Wednesday. Our house is supposed to be on the market by next Wednesday. We are selling our house. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it. My stomach is falling out. And as James said, we're going to be paying all this money for something, but we'll have the ocean, we'll have the river, we'll have the forest. Who could ask for anything more? Yeah, that's what it's like there. It's all of those things that build up our chi and our inner beings. So thank you for joining us tomorrow night, Thursday night. Oh, Karen said, yes, great program tonight, and can't wait to hear what town on the coast. It's Walport. Karen knows the coast. She knows Oregon because she lives in this wonderful state that suffers from drought, of course. And yes, on Thursday nights, James and I do magical improvs with the Kindred Spirits Band, and usually I play the piano, but I've been having trouble with the broadcast at the piano, so I'm going to try to set up something different today, and hope that that it'll work better. But I'm probably going to be spending the whole day tomorrow trying to do that. Well, James will be cleaning the carpet so we can sell the house, and I'll be trying to set up for the show tomorrow night. So, oh, Karen said, "Yay, I love it there." All righty, all righty, great, great. Well, the next time we have a retreat, hopefully, if we have a house, if not, we may be living in a tent at a campground. Which is impossible because I can't get up and down from the floor. So anyway, it's been grand. I'm really happy for your positive responses, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night for the music, 7 p.m. Pacific on Thursdays, and 6:30 p.m. Pacific on Wednesdays for Lighting the Way. Mwah! So let's see. Let me try to get out of here with the music. Here we go.